Here we are, take two. Sorry we're a bit late, but I understand the internet was not quite with us on the program. We started with a great conversation. Nobody was there for us, so we're back again. But first of all, so Tristan and I go way back, but we haven't caught up in a little while. So Tristan, way back when, you started your business in 2004. Here we are in 2017. Why did you start your business?
I started my business, Naomi, because I wanted to do something useful in the world.
Yeah.
It was that simple. I was a recently graduated physio. I was looking for a physio job. I couldn't find it, and so I ended up creating a business that would satisfy my heart's desire to do something useful in the world. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Physio, heart's desire, but doesn't necessarily make a good business.
No way.
No. In fact, I'm going to just get you to speak up because I don't want anybody to miss this gold. So right. In terms of the business, 2017, quite a journey. Why your commitment to culture? You've written this book, but why your commitment to culture?
So it didn't start out that way.
Right.
At the first 5 years of the Physio Co, 2004 to 2009, we grew from just me to a team of about 20. But in 2009, I was stuck. I was completely stuck. I had 20 odd team members. I felt like I was answering the phone all day and all night. But I'm the owner. I couldn't sack myself.
I've tried.
You've tried.
Absolutely.
And so that's at that point it was either Tristan, you've got this far, but is it meant for you? Are you supposed to get out of here, or do you have to find a solution? And I'm not a quitter as such, and so finding a solution was the answer. And culture just turned out to be the system or the idea that really enabled me to launch from 20 people all the way through to 110 where we are today.
Yeah. So culture is kind of a big conversation.
Yep.
In terms of there's many different elements at it. So you wanted to work in the place you wanted to work. You were sick of being worn down.
Yeah.
I know exactly what that feels like, and you wanted people to feel accountable and responsible. So what was the trigger point though? How did you work out that it was culture?
So I guess I went looking for a solution that I felt would work for the business, but also was meaningful to me.
Yeah.
And so I discovered the idea of a values-based business, because up until now I had this business and we didn't really have a mission or a vision or a set of really defined core values. And I've been working on it in the background, but I only was working on them because I thought every business needed them. I didn't necessarily understand the power of values. But when I discovered this idea of a values-based business, I decided yes, something resonating around a core purpose, a core values, and a very clear vision is a solution that I thought would be a way to move forward. So I'd give it a go.
Now, did we meet originally through Vern Harnish?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so and did you go to one of his growth seminars way back when? Is that when we met?
Well, I reached out to you, Naomi, and you recommended his book as one starting point.
Oh, did I? Was I nice?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice to know.
And nicely, and Naomi, you recommended a network that we've both been members of, and that's EO.
Yeah.
And so that's our initial connection way back when.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's good to know. And so in the little background, I've been a part of the journey. How gorgeous.
You are mentioned in the book, Naomi.
I did. And in fact, I wrote a little intro, didn't I?
You did.
Or something about the book, because it's great. But let's talk about some of the tools. You've mentioned purpose, you've mentioned values. But this month in our huddle, we're talking all about paint and picture. And I've used that always as an alignment tool, like why we're here, what are we here for, not just internally but externally. So tell me about how you came to produce your painted picture, which I think is probably the hardest part, how do you put pen to paper, and then how you've used it.
Yeah, so a painted picture is a really clear vision as to what the future looks like in a certain period of time, usually about 3 years or thereabouts. But as Naomi, as both you and I know, to create something useful in the world, you need a long-term vision, you need a North Star, or a BHAG as Jim Collins calls it. But it's too long, so we come back to this 3-year vision, which is a crystal clear idea as to what the future will look like for the team, how it will act, behave, feel at a certain point in time. And I discovered it from Cameron Herald, who's a consultant through EO, and he described the power of the painted picture. And so, yes, way back when in 2009, at that point where I was completely stuck, we created this 6-page document which describes what the future of the Physio Co will look like in 2012, and that's the starting point for our painted picture.
I've done 4 now, because you're quite right, they do expire.
Yeah.
So, and most of them are about 3 years out, and I tend to write the next one before the other one has expired, but for me it's also become a little bit of a checklist of how because the world changes, you know, and our world changes, so we can have all the intention, but sometimes things don't go to plan. So I've always considered it a dreaming document. And have you used it in a similar way within your workplace?
Oh, entirely. And so let's talk about that first painted picture of 2012 for the Physio Co.
Yeah.
Is it at the and when it first
did you write that in 2009 for 2012?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
So it was in 2009, released, and 3.5 years later, we would have this time where we try and bring this vision to life. And so when it was created, we had 20 team members. We're delivering 40,000 consultations per year to Australian seniors, and we were number 37th on Australia's best places to work list. And that was a point in time, and I had this dream, this vision to create this bigger business. And so 3 of those big goals were grow from 20 to 50 people, to go from 40,000 consults to 100,000 consults, and to hit the top 10 of Australia's best places to work. And they were 3 of the big goals in the painted picture that we obsessed over for years and years and years, to continue to add more people to the team, align people, and move towards this painted picture vision. And that's the way we've used it.
And did you get there?
Absolutely. Those 3 big goals were achieved, and we had a bloody big party to celebrate it. So.
Now, your big, hairy, audacious goal, what is it, and when is it? When's the time?
Yeah, so the time is, we're getting close. It was released in 2009.
Yeah.
And it's Jim Collins tells us 10 to 30 years is the right timeline.
Yeah.
30 years is too long for me.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
We're both impatient.
You got it. So I called it a 10-year obsession. And so we've got this 10-year obsession to deliver 2 million consultations to Australian seniors.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been working towards. Right now, we're about close between 1.1 and 1.2 million. And it's likely at this point, Naomi, we're going to land at that timeline just short of about 1.6 to 1.7 million consults.
You better get your skates on.
We've got to get our skates on, but you know what? And after 10.5 years, it takes us 10.5 years to hit a 10-year dream, I reckon it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't it the old saying, if you reach for the moon and hit the stars, well, you've done a really great job.
Absolutely.
And it is funny because we got to our BHAG actually quite a number of years ago. So it was almost, everyone's like, well, now what do we do? And we had to reset and go again. So, we're all about business success. That's what we want businesses to be, commercially successful and thriving. Now, that's one of the things that the team at Ready does. We are all about thriving workplaces, using recognition as one of those tools. What do you do inside your business when it comes to recognition? I'm not trying to sell you a Ready platform, but most welcome to have a look at it.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you for the offer. So recognition, I reckon we've got to create these environments where we catch people doing something right.
Yeah.
And so the concept of catching someone doing right, catching someone doing something right and noticing it as quickly as possible is the most important, very basic premise of being a really strong leader in the physio and in life, I think. But we use what we call an MVP program, most valuable person.
Oh, not minimum viable product.
No,
you had me lost there for a minute.
Most valuable person. It's and we just on Friday we had our TPC Swarm, our annual conference, and we announced our most valuable person of the year.
Wow.
And the MVP of the year award. But it's a very simple concept. There is an expectation that every team member will nominate one of their peers every month for living a core value.
Yeah.
And then we have a monthly MVP, and then we have an annual MVP of the year. It's very simple, but it's about catching people doing something right, using the values as the common language, and then sharing those stories. So we continue to grow and align ourselves to the value in the language.
That's great. You're in quite a number of locations, and I am going to show you this Ready platform before you leave today, because one of the hardest things is when we're not there. And I have noticed in my own teams that when people are not in our realm of sight, they can get missed. And even though you ask people to nominate somebody, you don't know whether they're doing a tick and flick.
Absolutely.
The other thing is that I'm looking for key indicators to let me know about my workplace before it happens. So I know in my system, if people stop recognising, it means they're disengaging with the business and they might be a flight risk. I also know that especially if they have been recognising and they haven't, and I also can see insights. So there's an analytics tool that sits underneath it to give me some predictive information to help me actually with the commercial outcomes. Because we don't do it because we're nice, do we, Dale?
No, we don't.
No.
Yes. These people are watching you pitch right now, Naomi.
I know. Do you like that? I can't help myself. Anyway, Javier, I promised that I would mention that to Tristan. He hasn't got away, so there we go with that. But look, one of the things I am going to do, this is a really easy read, and I've got to say, because it's in bite-sized pieces, and it's really broken down into some of the critical successes in creating culture. And I think it's really great. I'll make sure that I put a link. It's on Amazon, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I'll make sure I put a link on a bunch of places, whether it be in the huddle, we'll do a blog, whatever, to make sure that people can access it easily and quickly. But and also painted picture. Are you into the next round?
Yeah, so we're into our middle of our third painted picture right now.
Right.
And so our third painted picture lines up with the end of next year, which is our BHAG time. And then, but we're already putting dot points in place as to what the next BHAG and of course painted picture will look like. So it's an exciting opportunity to think ahead, but then it's so fantastic to have the document to realign people to on a daily and weekly basis.
Yeah. You know what I reckon everybody's sitting out there thinking right now, they're going, how do they find the time? So that's kind of the point. You had a lot of people asking you a lot of questions, and you worked on your business strategically. There's a lot of stuff about the culture, but the painted picture, one of the things that I found was to have fun with it, to literally white page. You know, lots of people have heard this. You know, I was like, imagine when Hugh Jackman will do an ad for RedBalloon for free. You know, but it's kind of allowing ourselves to have some fun with it. So, how did you find the time, and was it worth it?
Yeah. So I get this question all the time: why culture? It's too hard. It takes too much time. And the answer is, in my experience, after 10 years of really obsessing over this, you need to invest time and some money in building a strong culture. But in return, you get a hell of a lot of time and money back. And so the time required to envision the future, I think most business owners are already doing it, but it's just documenting it and refining it and then becoming passionate about communicating it. And I think the communication part is where many of us fall down, because we've got these ideas and notes in our notebooks, but we don't share them with our teams.
Yeah.
And when you don't share them, how on earth are people supposed to follow along and contribute if they don't know where the business is headed?
I remember Vern once saying to us, we speak about values until people tell us to shut up. And that's our job as leaders. So Lozzie, did you hear that? The communications piece. So we'll be getting that next painted picture out and about through the big red group really soon. Now, do you have any questions of me before we finish up?
I do. I want to know about your BHAG. Tell me about the BHAG.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, our BHAG is about making other businesses commercially successful. So we want 10 million by 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're fast approaching. So one of the things we realised about the RedBalloon purpose was we have 2,500 small businesses that we deliver customers to. We've now delivered 3.8 million customers to those RedBalloon suppliers. So as we've extended out with other businesses, all of them are about making businesses commercially successful and thriving. So now it's about having, people within our huddle, people within, representing people in Wrapped, obviously about Ready. So all of them actually align up.
I love it.
Yeah.
And my second question is, can I ask some more questions?
Oh yeah, of course.
If you have to.
Yeah.
Next question is about, we talk about culture inside a business and a workplace, but each of us, you, me, we've all got our own personal culture. And I think it's so fascinating that people don't necessarily talk about personal culture, but we talk about habits and rituals and things we do. So I'm interested as to your personal culture. Do you have a painted picture for yourself as an individual?
It's not a painted picture, but every January, on the 1st of January, my husband and I create our plan for the year, and we have a theme. So this year's theme is the good life. How am I going on that, Stu? But it's about the good life, and it's about enjoying the things that we do have, we do experience, and the people that we're with, and being really intentional about the friendships in our family, being really intentional about it. So the good life for us is about relationships, and obviously shared experience. So we have a theme, and then we have certain things that we're trying to get done for the year in terms of whether it be career, whether it be family, or with our friends and our home life. So we do have a theme rather than a painted picture.
Yeah, I love it. And the reason I ask is that this book's all about systems and creating a strong culture via a system. But if we don't have systems and a culture in ourselves, it's very difficult to be leaders that can build a strong culture in the team around us. So I was fascinated by what you're doing.
People often talk about personal branding, and I'm not going to get aligned on that. But for me, it's about reputation, and reputation comes from your values. So I'm very, very aware of my values. I'm very aware that I can count on my word, and to me, that's very important as a leader because people know that. So it's really great. But we're going to say goodbye now. Let everybody go. Thanks for coming in. We're here in Melbourne today, which is really great fun, which is where Tristan bases his business. We'll put some links on so that you can get a copy of this book. We'll see you again soon.